What's up, guys? Welcome to the LA AV Club podcast. My name is Jared.
I'm Aaron.
And we're filmmakers living and working here in Los Angeles. We work on everything from big budget features all the way down to small stealth, like run and gun kind of gigs.
Yeah, one of the things is pretty decent sized live streams. They require a lot of people, a lot of money. And we wanted to come up with a system that we could produce more content on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
And today's a pretty good example. We got everything on one C-stand.
Literally everything is built. Our entire studio is built on one C-stand.
So now we have this, which is, kind of live stream, live cut. I guess not streamed, but live cut. And
we kind of wanted to also have a place where we can bring together like our film family and friends. And speaking of which, today on the show, we have Katie Burrell.
Yeah, I met Katie at a film festival where her and Colleen Gentman were showing their new film, Dream Job. Yeah. They ended up winning an award there, and then this was actually in the middle of like a big festival tour. So they did the whole circuit.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because she's like a writer, she's a director, she's a comedian, she's a producer, she's a skier.
She's awesome. We love her, even though she's Canadian.
Let's head up north.
To the Canucks. Land of the Canucks. Land of Rick Moranis.
The land of Rick Moranis.
Such an old, weird reference.
Thanks for coming on the show, Katie.
Yeah, welcome to the show. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So you do a lot of different things. We kind of had a discussion about that earlier. But how do you describe yourself?
Currently unemployed is how I describe myself.
Same.
Hey, same.
Oh, actually, a better word for unemployed though in entertainment is in development. So I'm in development on quite a few things right now.
In development is good. In between, that sounds better than in between projects for sure. We're in development on a high-end podcast.
Okay,
so
it's going well. You guys have all the stuff, headphones, and what's the green thing in the back there?
Oh, it's a Buddhist jade.
Oh, yeah, it's a little statue.
Okay.
It's funny.
I used to have two.
Yeah, it's everyone keeps thinking we're in a studio, but it's just Aaron's living room. That's why there's like random jade sculptures behind us.
Yeah.
It does look like a studio. When I first saw it, I was like, damn, you're just doing a podcast during quarantine, lockdown, social distancing in a studio that you drive to, grab a coffee, meet up with your buddy. I was like, this isn't a good look, but it makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, no, it's my living room.
So back to me.
Yes.
Just kidding. I would describe myself currently as, I don't know. Yeah, I actually am in development on a few things. I'm assuming you guys want to ask me about Dream Job, and Dream Job is in development with a company in LA, actually.
Oh.
To turn it into like a full docu-series.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was kind of the idea in the beginning, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, here, we should probably tell people what Dream Job is.
Totally. Okay. Dream Job was a short film that we made last year, a short skiing film that we made, featuring Christina Lustenberger, who's this like crazy first descent, ACMG guide, pro skier, total monster in the mountains. Leah Evans, who's one of the pioneers of female skiing, as far as I'm concerned. Like, she started Girls Do Ski over 10 years ago, which was 10 years ago, finding you were the token chick in the crew to go skiing with. Now it's like you can actually ski with a bunch of women, and it's not that much of an anomaly. It's not even really, it's just normal. But
chicks can do stuff now.
Yeah, we totally can. We can get into that though. Yeah. Except for not shave our legs or armpits.
Yeah, no, that's not acceptable. But other stuff.
And have anyway, yeah. There are still things that are coming up for us that aren't quite fully leveled out yet, but it's cool. We're working on it bit by bit, meme by meme.
One meme at a time.
One meme at a time. We're dismantling the patriarchy. But yeah. So, and Diney Harrison, who was also, she was the first female certified guide in North America. She's outrageous. Like, she's the saltiest woman I've ever met, and also the most inappropriate woman I've ever met. And in terms of making a film with her, where you're like, we kind of had to keep it PG because of the funding body. And we have like hours of footage of Diney just saying the most inappropriate things. And if
it's so funny,
the genders were flipped, honestly, like we've talked about this a lot. Like, if she was a man,
you'd be like in jail.
She can't. So double standards are very much still real, and we're all aware of that.
Well, it's nice because it's letting you do your thing then, or her do her thing.
She's not incarcerated.
Totally.
She would be the creepiest dude on earth if you overheard the stuff she said.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
But as a girl, you're like, that's pretty funny. Like, that's true. Yeah, I like her point.
I like her point. Yeah. So
it all took place on mountains.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, skiing.
Yeah. You guys are obviously real.
Yeah.
Which mountains? Just so we're clear, because I'm from Colorado, so you know.
Oh, so you're a guy that knows about mountains.
I know some mountains.
Colorado. Yeah.
You're a typical ski bro.
Colorado is like the
Snowboarding.
yellow label of being involved in skiing.
Yeah, it's just like where you vacation. You vacation to ski in Colorado. It's like unless you live there and like do it all the time, kind of.
So here's actually a question I wanted to ask you: is everybody on the crew skied? How did you find crew members that could ski and do a good job? Because there's some of it's pretty crazy locations, like taking in helis and stuff.
Yeah, it's actually like there's an amazing talent pool in BC of filmers and sound people and
That's British Columbia.
camera
It's
assistants
in Canada.
Whistler.
in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great work, you guys are keeping up.
We're
And
trying to
then,
give context to people who might not know about Canadian culture.
like geography, you mean?
Yeah, or that. Not everyone knows John Candy.
No, I
Rick
refuse
Moranis.
to like.
Rush.
I refuse to like handhold people from LA. Not to just like figure out where it is. It's outrageous. It's like no one in America helps Canadians when they talk about where stuff is.
Yeah.
They're just like this. They're like Montecito, and you're just supposed to know where the
Yeah.
fuck that is. So I'm doing
I
this.
know where Montecito is,
Yeah.
and I live here.
Yeah. So yeah, there's an insane talent pool up here. Pretty much like if you work in the ski or snowboard industry within the like filmmaking standpoint, you have to be really good. And a lot of people who are filmers are like ex-pros. Or they did it for a while and then it wasn't really their thing, or they wanted to sort of have a different kind of creative outlet and they sort of transitioned into filmmaking or whatever that looked like. So everyone we ski with, I mean, some of them are skiing with like 60-pound camera bags and it's like, you're sitting in the back seat for sure. But
Yeah. Aaron thinks he's cool because he runs with a 20-pound weight vest, but maybe if he tried to throw on a 60-pound camera bag.
I saw a picture of a guy. He was like the cam up on a Noble film, which they were up in the mountains in Sweden, but they were just like kind of hiking.
Yeah.
But he had two the bigger pelicans, like strapped to each other on his back like a backpack, so it stuck out like this far.
Damn.
And it was just
weight balance,
and it was carrying like both the reds they were using, like the full kits. And I was just like, there's no way, man. Like that. So people do it though. People get in it.
Yeah, we did use a helicopter a couple of times if we had to get into somewhere like super crazy for that. Cause like, it's really challenging to start a day with like a 4-hour ski tour if your whole camera crew is like carrying stuff.
Yeah, you have to hike the mountain.
Yeah, and it's just like it just ends your shooting day essentially. So we would just kind of try to be strategic on where we were shooting or how we were shooting it, or like those are just logistics that you kind of have to take into consideration when you're shooting in the mountains. And we were fortunate enough to have like access to a lot of amazing terrain really close to where we are out of Revelstoke. So easy to get to stuff ish,
So one of the things about the movie we haven't really touched on is it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a lot to do with that.
I do. I guess so. It's interesting. Like it's been really wild. For your listeners. So it was a 15-minute short film that was also sort of set up as like a pilot style thing. That's basically like a window into women in action sports using my character. I also do stand up and I'm a comedian and yada, 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 like using my character as an everyman. So I'm playing like a caricature version of myself as a comedian being immersed into this new world with the sort of mantra, or the sort of like hook line, like how hard can it be? And I have sort of like a gross ego about me, and I continuously get my ass handed to me in different scenarios, and I make excuses to try to get out of situations. And
it's like the perfect. We were talking about it. It's like funny, and it's very it's like a very girl power film, I guess, without having to like state it. It's just showing women doing rad things, but without saying anything negative about men or making it like this is a special thing. It's just women do rad things. Let's go talk to one of them. Not she's the only one. I like that about it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was actually a huge focus for us while we were, especially in post, like while we were like kind of pulling it together. And honestly, like when we pitched it, you know, there's so much money and women are having such a moment, you know what I mean? And so it's like, there's so much money and there's
but
so
are
much.
they?
What do you mean? Like an emotional moment? No, you. There's a lot of like money, like now that we're in development on it, I'm like, even on the call the other day, I go, what's the hook? Like, what's the thing though? And they're like, just keep doing the fact that it's women. It's all women. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm like, it feels regressive in my mind sometimes to be like, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that conversation is important and I'm glad we're having it and have had it. And I'm glad that it's continuing to be a conversation. But as like a comedian, I'm like, you kind of have to like, or to lead essentially, you have to like just offer your audience something and allow them to come along the journey with you instead of like forcing them to come on the journey with you, I guess. And so in this case of Dream Job, like a huge goal for us was to just offer the audience what like a dystopian future where women don't have to say they're making an all-female ski movie. They can do something that happens to feature 3 main characters who are all women and are all incredibly talented and
and they all have like really good personalities.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like where we're at and where we're going, and like I by no means sort of take it lightly that we can do that. Like that wasn't the case 10 years ago even, and so I feel really fortunate to be able to do that. And people sort of go, "Oh, that's maybe what they were doing." You know what I mean? It's a neat time in that sense, but it's also like it was really important to us that we have no intention of ever like putting anyone down, what gender, trans, whatever.
No, it feels really authentic. Like it's like I said, it's kind of just showcasing women doing cool stuff without any other commentary. There's no like further political agenda behind it. It's not trying to make you go vegan or, trying to convince you to, I don't know, eat only meat.
Yeah.
What's just 'cause I'm kind of curious, like, what's your like creative process like for Dream Job? Like how much of it is written? How much of it's kind of just happening on set and you're just kind of capturing the moment? What was that like?
For sure. In that one, and now looking forward as well with it, sort of a 2-part answer. Like the first piece that or the pilot, I guess you could call it now, sort of semi-officially. We wanted to create environments instead of creating scenes or like or having like
it out.
Scripting. So it was like I was mic'd up. I had a character I was playing. I knew what the general goal was for each day or each environment or each scene. Each bit. And it was like, okay, we're in a guides meeting with Diney. We want to showcase how nerdy these guides are and how obsessed they are with snow science, which to like your average person is like, are you serious? This is even a thing. And so my character's goal is to be like, I can't believe this is happening. Are they for real? But at the same time, like, so my goal in that, and we would have shot in there for, let's say, half an hour, I'm mic'd up rolling and I'm just kind of doing improv, like responding to the situation. So there were days like the girls do ski camp, obviously a longer day. I was mic'd up for a full day coaching these girls. And so in that scenario, we're like, okay, we're trying to cover off a few things. Always the goal was to use my character to showcase how incredible the other characters were by, just placing me in that everyman position. And so most of it was, all of it was totally improvised, save for the scenes.
Like a general,
or the environment.
Exactly.
So production-wise, she's essentially what Larry David is to LA, Katie Burrell is to Canada.
Boom.
You're
the Canadian. You're the Canadian.
I was gonna say female Larry David.
Massively LA statement, but like
you'll take it.
Canada, the East
You could
No,
you
it's
could
like,
quote
maybe
that on your website.
it's a huge compliment, but maybe to the Revelstoke. Let's was smaller.
I like it all of Canada because to me, Canada's basically skiing and hockey.
There's Rush and there's beer.
No one cares about Rush.
I care about Rush.
Jesus.
This fucking guy.
But that's all it is, right? So Larry David's everything LA, lattes and every scene in LA. Mm-hmm. She's basically covered most of Canada already.
And the U.S. is just what?
I don't know.
There's so many different things.
That's why he's only LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the rest of it is.
You didn't even hear what I said.
No. What was it?
I said debt and a fake democracy, which was maybe a bit heavier than
you know, we're trying to keep
Conducting,
it bright, but you're essentially, the debt's only growing. Now we're printing money, apparently.
Dude, we've been doing it for a long while.
I wish you could do that with your own business, and you're just like, oh man, I'm not making as much as last year. All right, now we are. That's great. There's no consequences to this idea at all.
Totally.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, so you and Colleen went on basically the whole circuit tour of film festivals, which is something I've never really done. Like I've been to some, but never like a tour or a circuit. What was that like?
Oh my God. It was amazing, but it was also totally exhausting. And equal parts like thrilling and draining, I think, to be totally honest. Like,
how many places did you go?
I think we did 28 shows.
That's all over the world too.
All over the world. And I was doing stand-up comedy at most of them.
Yeah, so you didn't do it at ours.
I didn't do it in LA because that was a part of a bigger festival. But also some of the bigger festivals literally hired me to do stand-up to intro the film. And I would be like, okay, but can I actually do my stand-up? And they would it's not quite so dramatic. And I was trying to kind of keep it corporate, you know, like the dad on Full House, for example. Like
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget and his stand-up compared to like his, and so I was like, I don't want to screw over the film by coming out and talking about like my sex life or whatever.
Person
and then,
like a sailor.
Totally. I have such a potty mouth and then like cueing to this.
And it's like kind of lighthearted in a way, like kind of.
But it really worked. Like either doing the stand-up before or sometimes I would come on after do a Q&A, kind of sort of a more performative Q&A, where I would kind of like go rogue, which was kind of always set up or whatever. But then it was like, so we toured all of BC in Canada. We did Montreal, Ottawa, we did Denver, LA, Salt Lake City. And then it went on tour through the States by itself as well, like Boston and all down the West Coast and with this other sort of affiliate party. And then we went over to London and we were in Kendall and then all through Europe.
What was the response? Could you sense different responses in different places or was it kind of...
And I mean, the whole thing was like a trip. And it's funny because I haven't talked about Dream Job for a while because I needed some space from it. But we had no idea that people would even watch this fucking thing, let alone like it have happened what happened with it. Like we were like, oh, sick. We have 2,000 views on YouTube. Like it's like 78,000 views now. And it's like, people know about it. I've been recognized on 4 airplanes.
What?
That's crazy.
People being like, sitting next to me, being like, I've seen Dream Job, and me being like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Canada's so much smaller.
That was in the States. So fuck you. I was like and I downloaded Bumble, and then this guy was like, I just saw Dream Job. Anyway,
so it's improving. It's improved your dating life, in other words.
I wouldn't go that far at all. I think I'm going to need a miracle to improve my dating life. But Dream Job was not that miracle.
What was funny is in LA, we're cheering. We're like, yeah, that was awesome, you know. And then this like trailer comes on for the next film. We think it's like 1 minute,
God.
And then it just cascades into the gnarliest movie and heaviest movie you've ever seen about prostitutes in Germany. Was it Germany? Yeah.
That was Germany.
Yeah.
It was
so it goes
on the highway, and we're like,
it goes from Dream Job to just like,
and
dark.
that thing was like 2 hours long, and we were all, I'm uncomfortable. This movie is amazing. The movie was great.
It was an amazing movie.
But it was heavy.
They should have done it the other way around, I feel.
Or just not had us watch that at all that day.
Yeah.
Such an intense day. I feel like bonded to everyone that came out to that
when we were
show.
eating afterwards, we went to El Adobe. We're all eating. There's like 8 or 9 of us, and we'd be talking about like Dream Job, and then it would just be like, but prostitutes in Germany, that van, and we could never even like accomplish a single conversation because someone would just be like, oh my God,
down.
like this thing just came up, and it was just continually back, and we're like, maybe it is that good because that's all we're talking about.
It was an incredible film, though. It was like, it took her 3 years to make this film. Following women working as prostitutes on the side of the highway in Germany, which in Northeast Germany.
Yeah, I wish I remember what it was called, but Google. I'll put it in the notes. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. But I guess we could kind of wrap it up. But one other question, I guess, is, so what's it like being a funny girl in Canada?
I imagine just like everywhere else, but colder.
I can't believe you're being facetious, right?
I don't know.
What's it like being a guy that thinks he's funny in LA?
Exactly. It's you laugh at a lot of your own jokes.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we're totally on the same level here.
Yeah, most people don't. You think most people are idiots because you're like, how do you not get that?
Same.
Yeah. You assume that everyone is like, that dude's awesome.
Same.
Yeah, see? I get it.
No, if you're asking like what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, I guess. What's next for a funny girl from Canada?
Yeah. Well, so we spent this winter making 2 more films about women in skiing. And then, so we have a film coming out this fall, longer sort of documentary, still sort of a comedy, but less so, that like sort of a little bit softer line than Dream Job, featuring Hedvig Wessel and Lorraine Huber, and who are 2 athletes on the Free Air World Tour. So we've traveled all over the world with them this winter with their competition season. And then we have a web episode coming out for Hedvig as well. She's like a super famous Norwegian free skier.
Oh, cool.
And then we're in development on a dramedy, actually. So like a feature film that's in the ski world, but is not a ski movie. It's like a love story, but it's a dramedy. So it's kind of like, it's like Ingrid Goes West meets Blue Crush meets
Ingrid
Little
Goes
Miss
West.
Sunshine.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was just it's a weird reference though, but I get it.
Like just, I mean, in terms of
tone.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
And then Dream Job is we're working on turning that into this docuseries, which would be like the same style, like these short episodes of me being immersed in really incredible women doing what they do best, but it would be like surfing, mountain biking, climbing, etc., and me continuing to just get my ass kicked basically. We're gonna need a serious insurance policy for it, but yeah.
All right, well, if you're not busy, maybe we'll call you again soon.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Oh, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, Katie Burrell TV.
That's it.
That's it.
Instagram.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Instagram.
That's
anywhere,
the Instagram.
Anywhere we can see any of the
Dream Jobs on YouTube.
Yeah, but what about the
Dream Jobs on YouTube.
the upcoming stuff you're putting out like this fall? Anywhere we can see anything like that?
Yeah, that'll all be on YouTube as well.
Canadian YouTube or American?
Canadian YouTube. I think you guys have access to it. It's the other way around. We can't get anything that's good out of the U.S. except for Trump's White House press briefings. That's
those
pretty
are great.
Good. Yeah, it's about as good as it gets.
Oh, it's rough.
Oh dear. God bless you. God bless America. I'm glad I live in Canada. Yeah. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Of course.
Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
All right.
Talk soon.
I think that went pretty well, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. Oh, we should have asked her if it was snowing, because it's Canada.